folks, if you you probably already know that I have way too many tomatoes, and I picked a whole lot of them green. And you may be in the same boat. You may have way too many tomatoes left at the end of the season, and you've done everything with them you could think of. I have canned and pickled and froze and dried and and done everything I could think of with them. I made dilled green tomatoes, and I made dilled green tomato relish, and I have chopped some up and put in the freezer for stir fry and soups. And I have canned red tomatoes and put some of those in the freezer for soup. And I've done about everything I could think of to do with tomatoes and green tomatoes. So I start looking around for some other recipes or something to do. And I come across something that I haven't seen in a long time. My great aunt Mabel, I believe, used to maybe make this. Somebody did. Somebody back down in the family. I remember eating this at one time when I was young. Lee's working on the shed some more. But sometime in my childhood, I remember eating this, and it was delicious. So I come across this recipe, and I thought that I would try it out and try to make it myself and show you as I go along. Now, this is the first time I've ever made it, so I'm going by a recipe I found online, and I'm just going to show you what I do, and then I'll let you know how it turns out. And I did have to go to the store. I did pick up a pie crust. I had to go to town. One thing I already done was I saw on one video where she diced up her green tomatoes, and then she took and sprinkled a little sugar on them and let them sit for a little while to kind of draw some of that moisture out. And so I've done that. I don't know if it works. We'll find out. But I did go ahead and put some organic raw sugar is what I use. And I sprinkled some of that on here and mixed that up and let that sit for a little while. First thing, I'm going to put my green tomatoes in a bowl, and it calls for 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. So we mix 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. In another bowl, in a separate bowl, you mix in 1.5 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of flour. I'm using brown rice flour just because that's what I have on hand. Lee uses white flour when he makes biscuits. He just does. And so I'm trying to make this a little healthier. I'm using brown rice flour. So we'll see how it turns out. 1/4 cup of that. And then you mix that all together. And I will list all of these ingredients at the end of this video. It'll be down in the description. Will be the list and the recipe. So after you watch this and you actually want to go make it, you can just look at the recipe in the description. But I think it's good sometimes, it is for me, sometimes to watch somebody else do it, and then I'm like really more confident about doing it. I'm not a great cook. We all know that. I've said that before. I'm not a great cook, but when it comes to something like this, I love my homegrown stuff, and I love to make something unique, and to me this is kind of unique. It's a good old recipe, especially for the end of the season when you've got all them green tomatoes you want to do something with. This is a good recipe for that. Basically it. We put the vinegar on the green tomatoes. We mixed up our dry ingredients. Now we just pour our dry ingredients over our green tomatoes. And we mix that up just a little. Get out our pie crust. We will put our pie crust in our greased pie pan. Unroll that pie crust. I'm thinking that this would be really good with a good homemade pie crust that I need to learn how to make. I saw where Jenny at Betting the Farm made her own pie crust, and that looked really good. And good job, Jenny. But I haven't mastered that yet, so maybe I will. All right, and now I just put the green tomato and mixture in the pie crust. There we go. Not pretty. I don't do pretty when it comes to food. I don't care how pretty it is. The uglier it is, the better it tastes. That's what my grandpa used to always say. He'd be proud of my cooking. Okay, I unrolled this second crust, and I'm going to put that over the top. Now, I think I will trim around this and make some slits in the top. Okay, yeah, I just trimmed around the outside of this, and I'm going to peel off all that extra crust there. I'm not going to get all creative like some folks. I wished I could, but I'm just not going to try it this time. Some folks would take that extra and make little leaves and decorations, and I really wished I could do that, but I'll try it sometime. I will. There we go. And then I think I'm supposed to make some slits in here. I'm just going to make some V's across a few spots. A lot of you people know how to cook way better than me and have been doing this, are probably laughing at me, but I'm trying. I'm learning. I might have to start making this for every get together. It'd be Nana's famous green tomato pie, so y'all look for that. The only thing left to do is put it in the oven for 30 minutes, and then we'll see how it comes out. So tickled. It looks so good, and it smells so good. I'm gonna get you a little closer. That is smelling delicious. I spilt a little bit. It's a little juicy, but I think as it cools, it thickens up, I believe. But doesn't that look good? It smells so good. And after I let that cool and cut into it, I'll come back and show you my piece of pie I'm fixing to eat. I'm gonna clean up my mess and let that cool. If you don't have a pie rack, you can take and flip your colander over and set your pie on there, and it works just as good. The pie is done and cooled, and it was delicious. I've already ate a piece. It was delicious. It's a little bit runny. So I guess like some apple pies are, maybe. You can see. So I had looked back at some of the other recipes that I had found, and in the comments some people had added more flour or added some cornstarch to keep it from being as runny. And but it was delicious. So the only thing I might try next time is adding a little more flour and just a little cornstarch and see if that just keeps it from being runny. But as far as the taste, it was delicious. And so I'm going to perfect this recipe and start making this more often. And give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and keep watching, and we'll do more things like this. Thank you.